about the advent of the parallel universes thing was so important that they published a special little issue on it. Isn't that wonderful? The venerable Scientific American who was strictly materialistic for 120 years. Do you know what the quantum realms are? Well, with these discoveries here, do you think that matter is the only reality? No. Dark matter has been discovered. He's winking at me. He's my nemesis, you know. Yeah. You know what dark matter is? They do not know that. And would you shut up? I think I should ask him to shut up because they've also discovered dark energy. Do they know what dark matter is? No. Thank you, Dr. Tiller. Do they know what dark energy is? They've also discovered subtle, sexy, erotic, all kinds of energies. These are the words they use to identify them. The reason I brought this up is because astronomers and scientists began to discover that there was more stuff in the universe than matter alone could account for. So they've now worked it up. It's been shifting around the percentages of matter and all these other things and so forth and so on to where the matter as the only reality only now accounts for 4 to 7% of the universe. Scientists are saying that, not me. If I said it, they'd have thrown me out of the International Remote Viewing Association even. But matter's gone. I mean, it is not, well, it's here, of course, and we're trapped in it. But as the only reality for the only science, or the only science of matter has now begun to discover that matter is not the only reality. And do you think the media tell you that? I wish I could see you better. These lights are terrible. So here it is. Physical matter accounts for only something like 4 to 7% of the universe. Now, there's something else really interesting about all this other stuff. Did you ever look up stuff in a dictionary? Did you know it's a perfectly good word? You know, it's meant to identify something that exists, but they don't know what it is, so they can legitimately call it stuff, you know. Who did that? I can see you better. The thing about all this other stuff is that it all interpenetrates each other. Does anybody here know what the word interpenetrate means? To penetrate between, within, or throughout, to mutually penetrate, to spread, or diffuse through, to permeate. Your physical body is sitting here, and all this other stuff is interpenetrating it all of the time. Did you know that? You didn't know that? You should subscribe to a few science magazines and instead of watching CNN, and you might find out about it. All right, so matter alone is not going to tell us what the universe is made of. Matter alone is not going to tell us what consciousness is made of. Matter alone is not going to tell us what telepathy consists of, or precognition, or even remote viewing, right? So that part of what we're interested in studying is over with officially. And I'm going to tell you, there's a really cute story that shows where it has begun to change everything. Interpenetrating there was, in the medieval ages, a term that was used, quintessence, which was thought to interpenetrate everything and was, some people thought back then, the basic building blocks of reality in the universe. Is that right, Tiller?
Yeah, they're using it.
Well, it's come back now. I have a book on it. If you have a book on something, you think you know what you're talking about. There were also, in the Middle Ages and even earlier, back into Greek times, the word ether, or aether, which was thought to be the same, interpenetrating everything, including matter. There was also in Sanskrit the word akasha, or akasa. Are you, some of you familiar with that? Except in Sanskrit, the akasa was loaded with intuitive information. Did you realize that? That if you could get into the akasa, you could find out anything. Sometimes it was called the perpetual record, the record of everything that had happened or will happen, and so forth and so on. And these terms are drifting back into our postmodern sciences. You see, the modern age was firmly locked into materialism, and now that materialism has been locked down or reduced to 4%, these other things are going to become interesting. And that's why the future, what we're interested in, is going to change, because there may be some explanations in these other parts of stuff. Why does all information that's the human bio-body process have to be explainable as physical source or processes? Are any of you asleep yet? Now, Sanskrit has a great deal to say about interpenetrating stuffs. And when Sanskrit was first translated into Western languages, you see, the interpenetrating concept, which is definitely in there. I have spent 2 years figuring this out, that there was the material level, there was this level, and they were all thought of as differently when they got translated into French and German and into English and everything. So we have the matter level, and we have the spiritual level, and we have this level, and so forth and so on. And these are thought of as distinct and separate, right? Stuff. Yeah. But they are stuff, and they're interpenetrating. And so in Sanskrit, other realities, see, I've entitled it, Sanskrit Other Realities. Oh, the quintessence book is entitled The Mystery of the Missing Mass of the Universe, the revised edition of the Fifth Essence, published in 1971 by Lawrence Krauss, Chairman of Physics at Case Western Reserve University, if you're all interested in reading that. These things are called lokas, L-O-K-A-S, and most of them are based on the root word bhur, B-H-U-R, meaning earth, matter, material existence, and experience of man's earth world. Though the bhur loka refers to the material universe, and it's the lowest of the universes, the levels, whatever you want to call it. Above that, I'm going to talk about it from the English point of view. Above the bhur loka is the bhuvar loka. And when you enter the bhur loka, you become into matter. You are forming yourself into the material world. When you come into the bhuvar loka, the world of vitalistic manifestation of embodied life existence and becoming within emotions, passions, affectations, which desire is the pivot. This is called, in many mystical, the desire realm. Is any of that familiar to you? Just becoming matter doesn't do anything. You have to have desires and passions too. If you didn't have those, what would your physical body be?